There is a zone that frequently comes up in discussions on the worst zone in classic WoW, and that is Desolace. This mid-level zone is remembered to be an arid wasteland with not much going on. Desolace frequently gets skipped and overlooked by players leveling up. However, is the bad reputation of Desolace entirely justified? Are there any redeeming qualities or interesting details to the zone that would make it not so desolate? So in this video we will be taking a look and exploring this infamous zone. Now, even people that consciously try to avoid Desolace would have to come here eventually if they were playing Horde at least, because the Onyxia attunement quest has you try and find Rexar, which patrols around Desolace. The Rexar model in vanilla WoW is pretty cool to look at. The inclusion of this character in this questline was a really cool nod to Warcraft 3 fans, as it quite accurately represents who this character is supposed to be. Doesn't have some epic cutscene, no, he's just a lonely wanderer in Desolace of all places. Now, Desolace is absolutely a wasteland, but one of the more noteworthy things you can see is the Centaur architecture. I find the look of their buildings and structures to be pretty fascinating to look at. We don't really see it too much aside from this zone. I mean, you can see this bridge here leading up to this cave looks really cool. If you're familiar with the art style of Conan the Barbarian, it kind of gives that kind of vibe. Desolace is the Centaur zone, and one of the big mechanics with this zone that is unique is the Gelkis/Magram reputation. This was a unique system that was in vanilla WoW where you would kill a faction of one of these centaurs, and killing Magram would increase your reputation with Gelkis and vice versa. So you kind of had to pick a side between these two centaur clans. Unfortunately, there isn't that much of a distinction between the two. You do get slightly different quest lines, and the quest line you do get for both of them is pretty basic, and even when you do the final part of the quest line, the quest reward is pretty lackluster. And beyond getting friendly, there really isn't any point to grinding reputation with Gelkis or Magram. So in general, this faction war between Gelkis and Magram was just a half-baked idea by Blizzard, which is a bit of a shame. I think if Classic Plus comes out, they could flesh out this system and maybe give some reward for getting exalted. Something that is quite clear if you've traveled around Desolace is that there's barely any mobs. You can go around on your mount and explore this zone, and there'll be some stretches of time where there's literally nothing in sight. Which, fair enough, if Blizzard were trying to make a wasteland, yes, at times this place definitely feels like a wasteland. One of the more unfortunate realities is that most people are just going to pass through the zone to get to Desolace. Desolace is mostly a wasteland, but there is some greenery, which genuinely looks quite aesthetic. So I went to this beach and I discovered something that I never knew about, which is that the Makura can shed their shells. I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know this was a model in the game. And Makura are these lobster monsters that don't get used too often. It's one of the minor monsters in World of Warcraft. And apparently this is a thing that lobsters do in real life. So wow, that's a detail I never noticed. Many people will go to Desolace to get to Moradon. The entrance to Moradon that often gets overlooked because people just want to, rush to the dungeon portal, genuinely looks cool. Like this statue of a centaur holding up a spear with these ruby eyes. Very cool looking. One of the more memorable scenes in Desolace is the Kodo graveyard. And man, this place is depressing. According to the lore, the Kodo graveyard is a place where Kodos go to that are about to die. Nobody knows exactly why, but they are all attracted to this one specific place in Desolace. They all travel to come here to just lay down and die. You can see there's loads of skeletons around of Kodo, and there's obviously buzzards are reacting to this and are swarming this area as well. Damn. There's even a quest where you have to wrangle some of these Kodos that are just moping around here. This brings me on to a topic of why I think some people don't like this zone, and I think it's to do with the quests here. A lot of these quests are just very tedious, like this Kodo wrangling quest. It's just going up to a Kodo, having it follow you for like a minute and a half, coming back to this goblin, and then repeating 5 times. And a lot of the quests here are just on the tedious side, even for vanilla WoW standards. The quests here don't really help this place's reputation out. There is a quest objective called Thunder Axe Fortress, which might be the coolest name for a place in WoW, and it also has purple flames. So when Cataclysm came out, this place got revamped and mostly had its, desolate theme kept intact, except for this oasis of life that was introduced, completely transforming the Kodo graveyard, which really is beautiful. There's another goblin running around this place called Cork Gizzleton, and he has a quest where you act as a bodyguard for him. Now, if only he could slow the hell down, maybe he could get some more bodyguards. There's also a satyr infestation in this place, alongside some long abandoned elven ruins, and I find this scene really beautiful, actually. I don't know what this aesthetic is, but I find this really cool looking. In general, I think there's a lot of reasons why people don't have many fond memories or nostalgia for Desolace, but there are some cool aspects to this place. If you guys want to see the video I made on Hellfire Peninsula, you can check the video on screen here.